I've told you my sort of background story. I didn't see a movie until I was like 16 years old. Like in a movie theater, I had TV, but I didn't see a movie in a movie theater until I was like 16. There was one or two times where we went on school trips to see something in the movies. One of them was The Wizard of Oz with the black one, the Black Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Uh,
The
uh,
Wiz,
the Wiz.
Michael
Our,
Jackson.
yeah, yeah, in the third grade or
I don't think
something
I ever
like that.
watched that.
Yeah. In the third grade, our teacher took us to see that because she's black, and so she wanted to support a black movie, and I loved it. I loved it up to. I thought I've never seen a movie. I think that was actually the first movie I ever saw in a movie theater. Was The Wiz.
Did you see
Uh,
that before The Wizard of Oz, the regular version?
no, I saw The Wizard of Oz
Because that would
on
be
TV.
pretty funny.
No, I saw The Wizard of Oz on TV it
Uh,
was every Thanksgiving or every Halloween. I forgot when. It was always
yeah,
shown
they
on.
used to play it on TV a lot. They
So,
play Gone with the Wind too.
yeah. So I saw it. What I didn't know until I got a color TV is I assumed the entire movie was black and white. I didn't get a color TV until like the late '80s. So when I finally like I saw The Wizard of Oz, I'm like, wait a minute, it's in color. What the it blew my mind for some reason. Like it was
Well, it
in
was
black.
made in the 30s.
It started off in black and white, and then when it
Yeah.
went into The Wizard of Oz, it's in color. So I'm watching it one day, it's in color, it's in black and whites, just like normal. Then in color, I'm like, wait a minute, is this color? What the hell just happened? That freaked me out for some reason. I was like, I got confused for a second. Um, so The Wiz was the first one I've ever saw in a movie theater, and then the next one I saw, we went to a school trip, and I believe all these school trips were organized to like as some sort of kickback to see Puff the Magic Dragon, the Disney
I
movie.
used to like. Well, there's this cheap cartoon um, that they used to play on TV. I used to love that when I was a kid. I don't know. It was
Yeah.
Disney. It's like a cheap, shitty cartoon.
Well, this was a
Remember
live
there
action.
was a cartoon version of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe,
I
and
do. I
like
love
I want to find it somewhere. It was before they made it into a live action movie. It's this cheap, shitty cartoon, and like if you look,
Yeah.
like I thought it was good when I was a kid, but like if I look back at it, it's like it's hideous. I want to find it and watch it again.
Oh, not only that, I don't own
And the
it on
voice
DVD.
acting is all like overdone too.
Yeah, I don't have that on DVD. You're gonna make me watch that now because I remember it too. I don't have the DVD, but there
Oh,
was
you know what I
a
heard? Michael Malice tweeted this. That okay, so the artist who they're okay, so it's just certain editions of the books of Narnia, but it's the ones I was familiar with. They had these illustrations on the front. Um, they were out like in the '70s. You're probably familiar with them, but the artist who made the illustrations was beaten to death in like New York City. He was like 30 something in
I
the
did not know.
'70s.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, where's Charles Bronson when you need him?
I do recall a comic book artist. I forgot his name. He used to draw a lot of really good stuff. Who was roller skating one day in the '70s, and he got hit by a hit and run driver, and he lived, but he was sort of like a basket case. He was in a coma for like decades, uh, uh, and uh, uh, and they never found out who did that to him. So I assumed he was mugged or got hit by a hit and run or something. And he lived until just a few years ago. So I don't know if I'm conflating that with. I did hear of an artist that got hit or murdered or killed from
I
that
think it might have been
era.
mugged or something. But they like
Yeah,
beat him to death, or yeah, they were like stealing his bicycle.
yeah. Uh, the other one I loved as a kid was either it was The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings, where they did a
Oh,
cartoon version
yeah,
of it.
they did both of those.
Yeah, and that was also was that Bashki? There was this artist who did. He's sort of like a cart. He's like a famous
I don't know.
cartoonist that never got like really famous. He
I
did
think
like
some of the animation was Japanese on that,
yeah.
and
So
they used rotoscoping in
yeah,
Lord of the Rings, the cartoon version.
yeah, and a lot of the guy who owned the cartoons actually owns the rights to them. He actually made the live action movie. He's the producer, same company. So a lot of the scenes where they used the cartoon as a storyboard for the movie. Uh, like some scenes are identical, like that scene where the ring wraiths are in the
the cartoon version is pretty good. It's just that it's heavily abridged. That they didn't.
Yeah,
because it's one movie and it actually doesn't cover the entire trilogy, but they made another one that Return of the King to like complete it. But it was like the first 2 books maybe, and it's kind of heavily abridged. But the parts that they had in it were good.
yeah. The Hobbit was a separate one.
The
right?
Hobbit was more complete because it was just like one novel. So actually, they were really padding it out when they made it into 3 movies.
Yeah. So they did the Hobbit cartoon, and then I think they did the 2 Lord of the Rings cartoons. The first one. So and they were pretty good. I remember watching them, and I thought there was something special when I watched them as a kid. The one I saw, I don't know if it's called Puff the Magic Dragon or Pete and the Dragon. It's
no, that's
Disney.
2 different movies. No, there was one. It was like Pete's Dragon or something. That was
Pete's Dragon. That's the one.
Puff the Magic Dragon was based on that song, which people think is about weed, but it was a shitty cartoon.
The one I saw was the
kind of looking like the Narnia one, just like like low budget, like
no,
animation.
the one I saw was Pete and the Dragon, where it's
I used to love that cartoon though.
There's a live action humans, and then the dragon is cartoonish. That's the one I saw. So it was sort of like.
There's also one with Don Knotts where he's a fish.
I saw
Limpet, I think. Maybe.
I saw that on TV. So the first 2 movies I've ever saw in the movie theater, because my parents saved it. It wasn't that expensive, but they had enough to get me to go to the trip. Because some of them I didn't go. Like there were sometimes that my parents couldn't afford the trip because it was too expensive. So I had to stay in school in another class. And then I think I cried about it, and then finally.
I watched some Disney movies in the theater, and I had no idea that they were old. Yeah. Like nobody told me. Like there's one called Bed Knobs and Broomsticks. There's like Mary Poppins, which is more famous. I didn't know that it was made like in the '60s. I had no idea. It could have been there.
Yeah. Well, so those were my first 2 movie experiences, and the Pete and the Dragon one, we got caught up in New York City traffic because it was like a rainstorm happening and traffic was tied up.
There were these Witch Mountain movies too about like UFOs or something.
I remember it starred that kid that was in the Bad News. He was in Star Trek. He was the kid that got killed in The Wrath of Khan. It was like, Captain, is the word given? And the word is given. I remember when I was watching it on TV, I'm like, hey, that's the kid from the Mountain, the Witch in the Mountain movie, whatever it was. That's how I remembered shit. But so the first movie I ever saw, we were late to, and half of it was halfway done because we got there. It was the Dragon one, and the other one was the Wiz that we saw. And those were my first 2 movies, and then I didn't see a movie again until I forced my parents to go see, give us the money to go see the Superman 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that was sort of that was the. I was
gonna say like Saturday Night Fever. Or something.
No, Superman 2.
Funnier.
Superman 2 was which I guess I was 10 years. When did that come out? 1982? No, 84, 84, something like that. So that was sort of like the 3rd movie I ever saw in a movie theater. I didn't see Star Wars until like the 90s, like when I could rent it.
I saw Star Wars in the theater, but I was like super young. But it could have been playing for a long time, or they could have re-released it. It was sometime in the 70s. I just don't know if it was when it first came out because I think I might be too young.
Yeah, and the reason I bring that up, not because to show how poor I was or anything, but it's because I didn't grow up with movies as part of my life. I grew up with TV as part of my life. I didn't grow up with movies as part of my life. I didn't
see The Empire Strikes Back until later, though.
Me too. I didn't see any of them
in the theater. I saw Return of the Jedi in the theater.
Yeah. So, for me, watching a movie is very underwhelming. It bores me, to be honest with you, because I didn't grow up with that phenomenon. So that's why I kind of like old TV shows versus new stuff. I don't like movie remakes of TV shows versus like
some stuff it can be okay. It's just you can tell that there's a lack of creativity, and they want to take something that's already established and ruin it.
Yeah.